Okay, something I really picked up from that is you're like saying love is love, right? Like that's God's motto or something.
Well, love and God's character is love. God is love, and love does
Okay.
no harm to its neighbor.
Don't you like not support gay marriage and stuff?
Um, well, yeah, and there's because I don't believe it's loving. I don't believe
Why
it's
not?
well. I don't believe
They're
it's
two consenting people.
I don't believe it's loving to neighbor to destroy the human family which God has created as the order of creation, male and female. Like I don't believe that it's loving to children to have them grow up in a home without a mother or a father.
I grew up without a father. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's tragic. It's a fallen world and it's tragic, but I
My
don't
dad was an
believe that
alcoholic
it's
drunk. Like my dad was an alcoholic, an
no.
abusive alcoholic.
And I agree.
I'm more than happy I grew up without him.
Yeah, no, actually, you and I would have a lot in common there. I grew up also with an alcoholic father who was very abusive as well, so I know what that's like. But that's tragic, though, right? Like, why do you and I complain about a father who is derelict in his duties like that? Because it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong for a father to treat their children like that or to behave like that. Now, in my worldview, it's absolutely wrong. In your worldview, it was just something he did. So what? But you and I both know better than that. But what I mean in terms of when you say, well, why not let people just do what they want? Well, again, I think there's consequences to broken sexual choices, even heterosexual ones, not just homosexual ones, heterosexual broken sinful choices in the area of sexuality. It's not just the homosexual sins that matter; it's also the heterosexual sins that matter. But when you ask that question about love in that context, I don't believe it's loving in a number of ways, but particularly towards the children of homosexual relationships. I think having a child grow up in a home, forcing them to grow up without a mother or a father, is very unloving to the child.
Do you think my mom was unloving for being a single mom?
No, no, we're talking about a different category. Your mom was dealing with a difficult situation with a father like my father who was doing
No,
very
but like
sinful
you said,
things
it's cruel to bring up a child growing up with. Sorry, my phone. Um,
purposefully. Homosexual
growing.
homosexual a homosexual relationship is purposefully forcing the child to grow up in a home without a mother or a father.
My mom chose to be a single mom.
Well, it wasn't really her choice, though, right? It was because of a derelict father, correct?
My dad was a dick, but she left. She chose to leave.
Right. She was trying to protect you because she loved you from a father who was abusive and an alcoholic. So it's a different category. So we're thinking in two different categories: a broken relationship between a man and a woman, where a father is acting very sinfully and you needed to be protected, and then the situation where two people choose to willingly force the child to grow up without a mother or a father. That's unloving. Also, I would say
How is
there's
it unloving if they love their child?
well, because it's forcing the child to grow up without a mother or a father, which I would say is part of God's order of things. You need a mother, you need a father. Like, for example, Lizzie, I think you have, and I mean this, you have as a woman tremendous gifts and graces that I do not have as a man. You are special. In many ways, women are like magical in so many ways. You have things that are unique about you as a woman that I don't have and I can't do. And I think that that's glorious. And then the opposite is true. There are gifts and graces and benefits to men that women don't have, and it's not a bad thing. It's a complementary thing. And to force your child to grow up without the love of a father or without the love of a mother, I think is a very unloving thing to do. But that gets to actually a bigger question, though, Lizzie, and that's this: how do you, as an atheist, determine anything at
Yes.
all is sexually broken? Because, for example, I saw on your page, and I won't bring up the names or anything like that at all, okay? But just as a point, I did see on your page that you were calling out somebody who I believe it seemed like was sort of an older adult lesbian who was, it seemed to be you were giving the suggestion they were engaged in inappropriate sexual relationships with younger children.
Yeah.
You were complaining about
Um,
that.
yeah, because the child could not properly consent.
Okay, so
Um, I'll call her out by name.
thank you for that pro-life. Thank you for that pro-life argument. But when we talk about that issue where you complained about a sexually immoral thing, Lizzie, I'd point you again to it. You're an atheist. You don't have a justification to complain about anything as sexually immoral at all.
Well, yeah, because of how it affects people.
So what? what one bag of stuff does to another. You're acting like human beings are valuable, that they have purpose and meaning, that there's something special about a human being that's different than rocks falling down the cliff. And once again, you're living inconsistent. You're putting one foot in my worldview so that you can gather things like value and dignity and truth and love and justice. But you need to look at your other foot. It's standing on an atheistic perspective. You're standing between two perspectives right now. So what I would say is this. My worldview gives me a justification to say that there actually is whole and beautiful sexual experience as a human. But God defines what that is. And in your worldview, anything goes sexually.
No.
No?
Consent. If they're consenting, that's great. If it's not consensual, then no.
Okay, so consent is the only thing that matters in terms of a wholesome sexual relationship. Only consent.
Only consent.
Okay. So you think that it's perfectly whole and good for, say, 5 men and 3 women to be engaging in a sexual relationship with each other?
Why not?
20 men and 15 women.
Why not? If they're consenting and enjoying themselves, why not? That's so creepy that you have a problem with it.
Well, I think that, I believe that sexuality is more meaningful than you do. I think that the Christian worldview gives more beauty and value to human sexuality than you do. I don't think that we're just beasts.
Nobody thinks we're just beasts.
Well, atheism does. In atheism, we are just beasts.
Okay.
Dancing out our DNA. In my worldview, God gives me the foundation to say that this is beautiful, lovely, amazing sexual human sexuality, and that it actually has purpose, that there is a beauty inherent within it, that there's something good and God glorifying in it that's mutually beneficial for people, but there's actually a sphere in which it operates where it is lovely and beautiful. In your worldview, it's just human beings dancing out their DNA, acting like beasts. 15 men, 20 women, just so long as there is a consensual nature to it. I think what you've done is your worldview essentially devolves men and women down to just beasts, dancing out their human sexuality.
Just because someone has sex doesn't mean they don't have, like... Sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, but back, it's okay. But back to that question about the older adult who was engaging in sexual relationships with a younger person.
Yes, once again, I want to call her out by name, Charlotte Urine.
Okay.
She was 24 in a sexual relationship with a 13-year-old girl. She was a pedophile.
Isn't 13 old enough for consent in your perspective?
No.
Who says?
Only the law.
Well, isn't that? Well, the law also said black people were not persons. So
yes,
I mean, who defines this?
Do you think 13-year-olds should be allowed to have sex with a grown adult to pay rent?
No, I'm standing in your worldview.
Why are you arguing?
Well, because I'm standing in your worldview and I'm telling you to look at your feet. Your position is completely arbitrary. Your opinion about one bag of stuff does to another is really irrelevant morally.
Wait, were we talking about gay people? What does it have to do with pedophilia?
Well, no, because you brought up the issue of human sexuality. And so, I'm asking you about human sexuality. This person decides to do something sexually to a younger person. You complain about it. Now, I would have agreements with you, but I'm showing you that you don't actually have a basis to complain about it. Your position is arbitrary.
A person who's attracted to a child is absolutely disgusting.
Who
they
says?
deserve the death penalty.
Who says? Who?
Well, you do, or you think rapists deserve?
Because I have an absolute word from God that gives me that foundation. But you're an atheist, Lizzie. You don't have a basis to complain about any of these things. What your opinion is just you have a 3-pound brain firing chemical reactions in your head right now, and that is a different brain than the person who is touching a younger human being. Now, by the way, I think that you also want to look at the foundation of this, Lizzie. You have a problem with one adult doing things to another human being's body who is younger, who can't consent, and it's against their will. So again, if you think consent is an issue, the child in the womb isn't consenting.
Thank you.
The child in the womb isn't going to be affected. Once again, it's not going to know it's aborted.
So how about if the adult touches the child while it's asleep?
Yeah, okay, back to that again. It's different.
How?
Oh my gosh.
You say if the child doesn't know then it's not immoral. So if this woman that you're accusing of doing this sexually immoral thing is doing it to children
I'm
who
not
are...
like accusing her. It's not like a thought. It's like I literally know she did this.
No, that's fine. No, you might be right.
I just want to confirm that.
No, that's okay. I understand that. You're passionate about it, but you're passionate about adults doing things to younger humans' bodies against their will, but you're pro-choice. She's just
pro-choice.
She's
Once
pro-choice
again, if
too.
something's in someone's body.
She's pro-choice too. It's her choice.
The pedophile?
Yeah, again.
Pro-choice has to do with abortion, not pedophilia.
Well, because I'm talking about the moral principles inherent in what you're arguing against. If you complain about the adult doing things to a child's body when they're asleep because the child isn't able to consent, then you should be on my side on this issue. It's one older human doing things to another younger human's body without their consent and against their will.
Okay. I guess let's go back to the topic.
So welcome to my position, Lizzie.
Okay.